Hello, everyone. It is Monday, June 10th, and you're watching the TXA Market Update. Bitcoin is showing signs of a possible rejection. If you've been paying attention in Discord, I pinged everyone when this started, and you can see right now we're kind of just sitting a little bit below that the previous all-time high when we swung up the first time back in 2021. So I marked that previous all-time high and we were up above it, the top of this potential flag pattern, and now you can see we are creeping below that level. So far, in terms of local structure, there is a little bit of a trend line there. It's not a real trend, but it's a little bit of a local structure of support that had been building as we got closer to the top of this pattern. So far, we haven't broken it, but if we do break through that going into this week, it's probably going to be driven by external factors, things like the DXY, which I believe was ripping again this week. Yep, there's Monday's candle. So they pushed higher for today, and now Tuesday we're kind of just sitting here. And as they pushed higher, Bitcoin came lower. So we did see some of that inverse expected relationship. When USD strengthens, it makes other commodities and things weaker against it, relatively speaking. So Bitcoin pulled back just a little bit. ETH, on the other hand, pulled back quite a bit in the last few days. And I suspect ETH Bitcoin is red a bit. So in the last few days, it is red. You can see they wicked it off of that resistance line, and it's in a green doji, but right on the 236. So ETH and Bitcoin not kind of deviating so much from each other, although ETH, relatively speaking, since that little local peak, has lost all of its strength again relative to Bitcoin. You can see on the futures chart, no gaps left behind. The DXY, as I just said, is up a little bit. The Dow Jones, not far off of its all-time high. You can see it made a slightly higher low there. Now we're kind of in the middle of that area. The S&P actually pushed higher, new all-time highs as of Friday. And you can see today, Monday, we're sitting at the top of that area. So not budging very much. Bitcoin dominance up in the last couple of days. So alts are probably taking some heat. There's a chance just based on this dominance chart that we've got stopped out in one or two of our trades. So we'll look at that in just a minute here. Looking at Hood, there's some green on Hood, interesting. Some green on coin for the day, but we haven't broken that resistance of that larger trend channel. Nvidia, what the heck is that? Oh, the 10-way split. Okay, whoo, whoo, they blew the top off of that 10-way split. So this technically on Friday was $1,200. That's where Nvidia was sitting, $1,200. And then here we are Monday. Let me split this out a little bit. Monday's candle, after splitting 10 times, almost 60%, about 60% in a single candle at the top of a market. Now, number one, that starts to look very blow off, very exhaustive top. But number two, that is massive for the equities market, for Nvidia. Technically, Nvidia's market cap then was priced as if Nvidia just last week was at $1,900, almost $2,000 a share. And now with the 10 times split, the supply is now greater. I actually want to see Nvidia. NVDA. They don't have, do they have the market cap? NVIDIA market cap. That's their main. I don't know if they're going to have it on here. I'm just going to Google it. Because I am just legit. Oh my good Lord. Oh no. $3 trillion. Woo! That is a massive market. You can see their year over year revenues up 200%, their net income up 600%, profit margins up 100%. Goodness gracious. I mean, that is insane. Look at that blast off. Good. Ooh. Okay. All right. So there you are. $3 trillion market cap. That's right here. that would have pushed about 5 trillion at the peak. So very interesting there. We'll have to dig more into that. Can block form this shoulder here? We'll wait and see. Amazon sticking up. So equities are doing well. The DXY doing well. Crypto struggling a little bit in that equity success. Before I look at the alts, let's look at some of our articles that are going, what's going on out in the world of crypto, at least according to CoinDesk. Remember, CoinDesk owned and operated by the DCG, so a little bit of bias is present. Excuse me. But let's see what's going on anyway. So Bitcoin bags, $2 billion inflows. Ether sees highest institutional buying since March. So one trader expects that to hit $10,000 in 2024, about 200% increase. Yep, just about. Bitcoin led the investment activity with 1.97 billion in inflows, while Ether saw its best week since March with nearly 70 million in inflows. So inflows into the ETFs, very interesting. Solana heavyweights wage war against private mempool operators. A group of Solana validators are facing financial penalties for facilitating attacks against crypto traders. Over 30 validator operators were kicked off the Solana Foundation program over the weekend. While they remain validators on the network, they're no longer eligible to receive what amounted to payout boosters for validating transactions. So it's almost like masternodes on masternode coins still can do their masternode work and do that, but they're not going to get extra transaction fees on top of it. So this was a months-long war between the heavyweights and underground economy of validators. They believed that they were exploiting traders with a sandwich attack where bots front-run and backfill trades that haven't been executed. Definitely illegal in traditional worlds, gray areas in crypto, probably illegal in the near future. Senate bill could open crypto to U.S. sanctions, but the industry is trying to head it off. The industry says a surprise section in a recent spending bill could slam crypto with sanctions threats, but a key Senate office is now meeting with digital asset sector insiders. So they had some implications of this bill, and now they are working to see if they're going to tweak it at all. So that's kind of a non-story yet, but could develop. So we'll see how that plays out. Squad Labs raises 10 million Series A, unveils a smart wallet for public testing on iOS. That is pretty interesting. We have some wallets on iOS. I'm not sure what makes it a smart wallet per se. So let's see. The wallet fuels eliminate the need to remember seed phrases, instead using your wallet recovery and 2FA. Yeah, that sounds great until you get your 2FA hacked by a SIM hack. So I'll dig into this one more. I'm interested to see what happens, but it caught my eye just because it said smart wallet, and I was interested to see if there was any major difference. It sounds like they're trying to make it easier and simpler, which can be a good thing. Sometimes not such a good thing. And then payrolls led Bitcoin either price swoon is buy the dip opportunity, crypto trading firm says. So the word is out that this is a buy the dip type of event. Will it be? It remains to be seen. It doesn't have to be. This could end up being a local turn, as we could head all the way back down to the 2.6, check in with support, check in with the moving average, and get kind of our heels drug in before we make the next move up. That is entirely possible and plausible, and would still not negate this potential move. We could come all the way back to this 2.6, and that move is still potentially on the table there. It just gets harder if we go back inside this channel because we're on the other side of resistance, and the moving average becomes resistance if we get underneath it. And so all kinds of things playing together there. Ideally, this starts to kind of stall out, and as the week progresses, maybe the DXY pulls back, we cool off, and we get a little bit of a pop. If we don't, alts could take some heat. So let's look at our alts right now. There's some alt heat on 1 inch. And let's see if any of our trades stopped out. It won't surprise me. I'm hoping none of them did. Algo's holding in pretty good. We were in the green for a while, so we had some room to give up a little bit. And we're sitting right underneath the 236. We've still got this previous resistance point that was also a bit of potential support in the future to hide behind. So hopefully that's it for the bleed on Algo. Cello, they came all the way down there, almost tapped, didn't stop us out yet. We are still in the game for Cello. They did tap to 618 now. That's exactly why I like to hide a bit behind those fibs and not on them, because they can poke through them. That would be a fantastic recovery if that is it for this and they get back up on the trend line there for us. Doggy Doge is underneath the 382, not looking too strong. Engine, there is a stop out. And honestly, when they do that, you really have to go back to the drawing board and evaluate your situation here. So this we could consider a 2% loss on Engine, depending on what you put into this 25% here. General rule of thumb is 2%. Actually, I'm going to leave that here. And this one we already went risk-free on our first trade. So this little bit of a loss shouldn't have been a big deal. But now you have a really difficult decision to make on Engine, because if you look left, here's the potential on Engine right now. There's potential that you've got an inverse head and shoulders. And if you do, there's the shoulder. And you are right on that shoulder. So the difficult question you have to ask yourself is, would you take another trade here with 2% fit into the stop, knowing that 20% now is in a much more favorable place in terms of this potential chart structure? 20% would be all the way underneath that previous swing low. So if you didn't take the Engine trade before, this is a potential where you could take it again. For me, I already went risk-free, so half of my Engine would have been free. And if I took this small hit, I could literally sell some of my risk-free Engine to cover that small hit and enter again if that's what I want to do. Personally, Engine at 25 cents, I mean, that is a pretty sweet deal. I don't suspect they would get under 20 cents unless Bitcoin really breaks down. Now, here's the thing. Jumping in right now is very risky, because Bitcoin, if it starts to pull back, all of these could get pushed to their lows, and you could be getting in prematurely. So personally, if it were me, if I had never gotten into this yet, I might be willing to take this entry based on that potential structure. If I just got stopped out, I probably want to wait, because I want to let the market show me the next steps. There was a reason why I didn't want it to go much lower than that. And if it does, it was this support looking left here. If it did, that meant the local move could be turning back down towards the bottom of this chart. So personally, after a stop out like this, I'm going to wait. I want to see what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin turns back to the upside and this kind of lingers and the market looks like it's going to come back on again, that's an easy buy signal on Engine there for me. So we'll watch and we'll wait on that one, but that is technically a stop out. ERG, if you had taken a position on this one somewhere up in here, they would have pretty much stopped you out if you'd gotten anywhere in there with a 20% stop. So that one's pretty dicey. Can they get back up onto that local potential trend line there? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. INJ is still sticking up in the air. They bounced off of that previous accumulation pause in the upward motion, bounced, and now they're stuck up there. If the market bleeds, this one may finally come back down. IOTX, not doing a whole lot, just going sideways right on the moving average there. Jasmy, this one's looking like it is turning at the 50. It should come all the way back down. That could be a 30-40% haircut off of Jasmy there. If it bounces off of that, that's a huge potential next entry point if the market looks bullish. KDA is giving us a bit of sweat here. Now look at that. They went right to this support level, and so far they haven't broke it. So this one may be viable if the market can turn back around and keep going. So we'll keep that one there. Komodo just sitting inside that triangle pattern there. KNC bounced up a little bit. The market's coming down. KNC doesn't mind at all right now. Our link trade's still in the green despite everything going on in the background. We got in a pretty good entry, and you can see they're holding at the moving average. So hopefully they're not going to come all the way down to the bottom of this 382. If they stay right in the middle and turn, we'll be in a good spot there. Loopring, that is a stop out, and goodness gracious, I'm happy to get out of that one. A 22% straight down in 4 or 5 days is not something you want to sit in the middle of. It is something you can look at and look left and realize this was a support area. So if you didn't take a trade on this one before, and you think that Loopring has a chance to recover that lost ground there, it could be a potential entry there to hide behind this level. You could possibly put your stop all the way. You could actually go 25 and hide behind the bottom there. So if I was going to enter now, that's probably what I would do. A 25% stop, small position, enter and wait on that one. Litecoin is not doing a whole lot, pretty much just sideways. Metal, there's a pretty strong bleed off of metal. Glad we didn't get back into this one. They rejected off of that resistance point again and came all the way back down. So that one is good to be out of. Neo, they came all the way back down. So this is technically a stop out. So two of them, Engine and Neo so far, stopped out. But again, we did so well last quarter. I don't mind a couple of stop outs. That was a willing risk I was fine with. And Bitcoin is just dragging this out. Poly, you can see there, We already talked about if you would have went risk free on it before. This is nothing you can really do right there. Now here's power. This was our original entry back here. I talked about this yesterday. Sorry, the last recording back when we were sitting right on the trend line. So if you'd entered there, it's down about 12%. Now you have a really nice potential entry on power. If you didn't get into this one already, you could enter there and have a much wider entry for your stop for a potential turnaround move on this one. For me, if they stop me out here, I probably would rather be out of the way because they could come all the way down to this 18 cents and clean this wick up, and that's when I can start looking for another potential entry on this one. If they don't stop me out, there's always the chance they get running on it again, and that's what I am waiting for here. You can see they're still inside that wedge pattern, so nothing really has changed on that one other than they've just bled a little bit in the general market noise. Sand, you can see, is kind of just stuck in that pattern there, and SNX is down in the red for us, but so far we're surviving. So 2 stop outs, Engine and Neo. The rest are still in play. I'm going to kind of see how this plays out over the next couple of days. Let's see by Wednesday, where are we? Did Bitcoin hold? Did it bleed more and push alts even further? If we get stopped out on some of these other trades, we're just going to leave them be, and we're going to let the market play out and look for potential setups moving forward after that. And we'll just kind of roll with the punches, because that's what you have to do. Sometimes the market is not polite, doesn't cooperate, your timing is not perfect, and that's why you have stops to cut your risks short and get out the way in case Bitcoin does this move and turns back down on us. If Bitcoin was to drop 10% this week, the alts are going to take some heat, and it is going to get heavy, and some of those alts will go to some nasty levels, and you just don't want to be sitting in them when they do it. It's better to get out the way, cut your losses short, let the market flush, and then look for entries back at the bottom of that. So I will stop there. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll be checking in with you in probably the middle of this week just to see where things are heading, but be smart, honor your stops, do not revenge trade, protect your capital. Bitcoin is hanging precipitously at the top of this local pattern, and it could run down a little bit, especially if people are saying buy the dip on articles. That's usually the hook to get people in before they flush them out. So we'll see. We will see, but please do not go putting a bunch of risk on the table unless you know what you're doing and you have a solid plan. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you any financial advice, but if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out in Discord. I look forward to seeing you all later. Thanks, as always, for your support and for watching. Until next time, take care, everybody.